Welcome everybody. It's been a while since our last stream here on this channel. I hope all the settings are still fine. However, as you might have just gotten a peek already, we've got the draft all going in on the way already for this game. I'm of course at the same time trying to administer everything going right here, because this is finally again another live cast here. Which I'm super excited for, but I'll of course have to do some work on the side so everything goes smoothly as well. Okay, so we're here for our PA3 show match for the Newbie and the Beast tournament. For all the info, make sure to check the Twitch chat commands of !N and B, as well as !Showmatch. This is the first match of the Play-All-3 there. Play-All-3, excuse me. And it's going to be Dragon against aleksanderG. Some very overqualified newbie players for our event here. But this only means that we're going to have a high-level game that we'll get to watch here. As we see, we have their map draft here pretty straightforward. Nothing huge to be excited about here. Of course, just maybe to demonstrate how this entire thing went down. We had 3 maps in the pool: Arabia, Enclosed, and Lowland. Both players get to pick a map without the opponent knowing which one that was. And then in the end, when it is revealed, we find out which map is going to end up being played here. In this case, as we saw, it was Arabia, since both players picked the same map. Had they chosen different maps, though, the last remaining unpicked map would be the one that the game was going to be played on. So we see here pretty straightforward. Dragon makes her pick, Alexander made his pick, and then in the end the reveal was Arabia. So that was how we arrived at the conclusion. Personally, a huge Arabia fan myself. I'm not gonna complain about that, obviously. All right. Now for the Civ draft, we also have that finished here already, apparently, so perfect. Maybe we can replay that just to all right. So as we're already setting up for the lobby stuff, let's quickly run through the draft. As we can see here, it is also pretty straightforward. We've got the bands here, that's Incas and Koreans in a case. Dragon going in with the first pick then, and we're gonna alternate 2 picks at a time until everybody has 4 civilizations picked. Aztecs first pick. Remember, they know now that this game is going to be taking place on Arabia, so this is going to be interesting to see where they go with their civs. The point obviously being they want to have as many good Arabia civs as possible, but also not end up being countered by the time the snipes come through. We'll see what that looks like then in the very end. As okay, they got their ping situation figured out. I'm glad about that. Aztecs on the one side, Malians, Lithuanians. No huge surprise there now. It is still interesting, right? This is not the top elite players here. We're not at the pro level. So definitely the players don't necessarily have to play full meta, right? Because personal strengths at this level of play especially can outweigh conventional meta quite a bit. So far though, these are just the top civs. Maybe I guess Lithuanians picked surprisingly early here. I don't think they're actually considered a top 5 Arabia civ these days, but what do I know? A Chinese over here for Dragon as well. Well, speaking of Chinese, I don't think it's the year of the Dragon just yet. That will be next year, if I'm not mistaken, but might still be a good pick after all. As I oops, I'm trying to minimize the Discord alerts. My bad. There we go. All right. I'll get there, folks. Okay, where were we? Yep. Oh my god, they just cruised through that draft, didn't they? Now let's see where we ended up. Alright, we still have the snipes, obviously, that are currently ongoing. We cannot see who's actually sniping what, but overall the civs do look pretty standard, as I said. Hindustan is also surprising me a little bit. High priority, but maybe again that comes down to some personal preference. All the rest I don't think is too much out of the ordinary either way. But there we go. This is what we end up with, the 2 snipes for each player coming through, and Dragon just sniping the top 2 first picks. Pretty conventional. Alexander actually not sniping the first pick, Aztecs, not too scared of them apparently. And so we end up with Aztecs or Portuguese against Hindustani and Ethiopians. Or Ethiopians, I should say, because obviously we're playing one map between these 2 players, and they get to pick either of the 2 remaining civs that they now have here from this draft. And interesting, so both players are now going to be theory crafting, okay, which one of my civs makes sense here? What can I use to sort of be on the safe side, not get counterpicked, or what do I think my opponent is going to pick? And how is that going to help me? Are there any super OP picks here? Now let's theorize about that a little bit, I guess. Oh shit! Excuse me for the Discord spam. There we go though. So Aztecs are generally just considered pretty high value civilization there. Hindustanis, well, not sure they fare too great against the Aztecs. Ethiopians, personally, without me with my low elo opinion, would say maybe Ethiopians a bit better into Aztecs. But then again, it's Portuguese on the other side. Not sure how the priorities look like there, because frankly, Portuguese really as if I'm not very familiar with. Alright, let's see what the lobby looks like. Oh yeah, yep. We're getting our spectator stuff set up. All good. And looks like the lobby settings are pretty good as well, from what I can see. That's of course always the big fear, somebody overlooking something, having to restart and such. That would be pretty annoying, but looking pretty fine. There we go then. We're about to get into this pretty soon already. And it is Aztecs or Portuguese against Hindustani or Ethiopian. So that is an element I think is pretty cool about the drafting format here for this one. Just that being, you really cannot be sure what you're up against. And there's a little bit of mind games that you can play, which I think always is pretty fun in esports. So looking forward to how these 2 folks are gonna play this one. I'm really unsure because I'm really not familiar with the Portuguese, so they are a wild card for me here. I don't know a whole lot about that. Generally, I would assume maybe just go with the Ethiopians. I don't know. I mean, Hindustani are super versatile, but in general, it just feels so good to go camels with them. And I'm not sure if camels are particularly great against Aztecs or Portuguese. So maybe Ethiopians is the better pick in that regard, but I'm of course looking at that through a very narrow lens here, only focusing on the camels, which surely can't be the right way either. So it is pretty interesting to see what we will end up with, and we're about to get in there pretty soon. I'm almost certain. Just a bit more patience. Obviously no stream delay on this one, but the spectator delay of the lobby is mainly what we'll have to concern ourselves with. That's why I cannot be sure just exactly when the match is gonna get going, but hopefully, man, what better could we have asked for to start off this series with? We've got an Arabia match between 2 very high level players here, around the 800, 17 to 1800 elo range, so really no complaints there. Sounds pretty hype, doesn't it? And we'll see what matchup we're going to get as well. Man, I really think it's going to be Ethiopians here, I cannot lie. On the other side, though, I'm not sure, because if you're thinking the opponent is going to be playing Ethiopians, does that influence your choice if you're Dragon? I mean, it looks pretty pretty easy, quote unquote, right? Since Aztec, the first pick of the draft, is still left up, and the Portuguese were just the last pick, so it looks like maybe Aztec's higher priority out of the gate here for Dragon. I'm not sure how deep the pocket there really is. All right, oops. There we go. Looks like we're getting into game here, as I have to open it with Capture Age, and then I'll switch us over here. And of course, not trying to skip ahead, but there we are, guys. Okay. Here we go. Oh man, it feels so good. It feels so good to be back. With some AoE casting again. Where do we move our stuff? Well, maybe just a bit in the corner. But there we go, guys. This is gonna be the first match of our Play All 3 show match. We've got Dragon here on the left side, playing as the Portuguese against aleksanderG's Ethiopian. So I at least got that shout out correct. And when finally some AOE2 cats, isn't that hype? Dragon against aleksanderG, of course, the lower level players of their respective 2v2s. If you're not sure and not quite familiar with the tournament, if you're watching on Twitch, you can check !NNB or !Showmatch, I guess, and it'll give you some more info here. Basically, this is just the first match of this Play All 3 series. It is the lower elo players of their teams playing against each other. In the second game, we're going to get the pro level players out of both teams playing against each other, before in the last game a 2v2 is going to be closing out this series. So that's where we're at here to start out with. Maybe, as is tradition on this channel, we should actually start out with the Civ info, although this is not updated to the latest patch. So if there were any changes in the very last patch, I don't have them in here, and I'm not quite sure exactly which Civ those were. But just in case people are interested, we've got here on our left side got Dragon playing as the Portuguese, and they've got well-known bonuses, mainly for their late game booming ability as well. You know, the cheaper gold units, the Feitoria eco in the super late game. That's all the utopia that the Portuguese try to build towards sometimes, but they're also pretty good on regular Arabia as well, without any of the crazy late game shenanigans. I feel like, I mean, look at some of these bonies, pretty nice, isn't it? Yeah, can't lie. Early game bonus with the foragers, pretty decent. Organgons and Castle Age, pretty good spike, although with the somewhat recent changes there, still not quite sure how powerful they are. Don't feel like they're quite the same, packing quite the same punch that it did pre-changes, but still. And well, the gold bonus is just a good bonus to have in any game on any Civ, so definitely also gonna help out on Arabia. On the other side here, it's the Ethiopians, a Civ that are, I think personally, one of my favorites lately. I can't lie, one of my favorite Archer Civs. I mean, it is pretty classic Archer Civ, no, all things considered. Bonus on the attack speed is just super solid, and the extra res when aging up makes it so smooth to go into those crossbows, for example. But also for some pretty crazy early feudal age time. It really just depends where you want to take it. And we've got 3 on wood right now for aleksanderG, and only 2 on wood for Dragon. So that's already a difference in play style here, or in opening. I wonder where they're gonna go with that. aleksanderG, extra 1 on wood would indicate maybe trying to go for earlier barracks, or trying to go into double archery range very quickly, I feel like. But In that case, I personally like 4 on wood, so we will see. Again, strategies do vary here. 2 only on wood for dragon is the standard indicator for a quick fuel age time and trying to go from there. And well, we'll see how that'll serve her if she's going to be able to pull that off. It looks like 18 villagers loom. That's when she's going to try and look to click up already. Well, it looks like she got that done there. It's really clean build here, actually, with the Portuguese 18 villager up click. Nicely done. I mean, it is, again, it is 17 to 1800-ish elo, so it's not shocking that these guys have clean builds here. And if we're looking at the idle TC time, it is pristine, I guess you could say. Now we've got the upclick as well for aleksanderG. Only 1 villager later, with the extra villager on wood. At this point, let's see what the difference is. I mean, the gold camp is the one that sticks out here, right? Dragon hasn't put that up yet, going up to the next stage. The eco looking pretty interesting over here. Oh, did she mean to make a lumber camp down here? Might not have had the wood there, and thus the lumber eco looking pretty inefficient here for the time being. Surely that lumber camp is going to come down soon though, and the barracks going up now as well. Same thing for the Ethiopians, who are a little bit later on that though, but going up late to the next age as well. Not gonna be surprised at a bit more time spent before making that barracks. Okay, this is looking like a pretty standard archery opening, isn't it, for Alexander? I don't think that's going to be a shock to Dragon, who's going underneath the TC here. Oh, let's see how that scout movement works. Oh, it's really low HP and finally goes down. That was nicely done, especially with the house foundation here by Alexander. Oh, and Dragon, that is a pretty big loss early on here. Having that scout go down and immediately goes into a spearman herself. And sadly, of course, I mean, you're playing against Ethiopians, so you're always expecting archers, obviously, but you cannot be sure. I mean, at this point, Alexander, for all you know, might just be going scouts, and you know, it's just unfortunate losing the scout early like that. Let's make just make sure. I didn't see the gold, so it doesn't know how many there are on gold. Didn't see, of course, the military building foundation go up either. Oops. And now the scout for Alexander getting all the intel there on Dragon, who's walling up a little bit more. House wall down south here, and will do herself a favor, walling a bit more generously. Obviously, walling against archers in early feudal age can be a bit tricky, and Alexander is coming forward already with the archers. Coming out one after the other, not having to worry about scouts picking him off. Well, somewhat having to worry about it, obviously, but having the own scout around makes it a bit easier to keep track. All right, still being diligent here, sending the archer with the scouts. This is I guess, pro tip if you're playing archer openings, especially against someone who's going scouts. You always want to have a spearman with the first couple of archers, or the first archer that you're sending out. Over here, nice micro though from Dragon, picking off the scout. Now in a losing spearman battle though. But I guess the spearmen of her own not as much value anymore, having already taken out the opponent's scout. Now the archer making this a very uneven fight, and down goes her spearman. So Alexander now with a pretty good position of pressure here, controlling the hill right in front of her village. Very difficult to take that position back, even with a couple of scouts, which she only has one of right now. Forcing up that archery range might have been a really good choice here. I'm not sure everybody would have been so decisive in that play, putting all the villagers to put up the range, making sure that it doesn't get denied, because with those a couple of skirmishes out, makes it a lot easier to defend here. No blacksmith upgrades just yet for either side. Oops, I think I don't have the in-game audio on, by the way, apologies there. But now even pulling the villagers, it looks like a pretty decent fight. I mean, it is some idle time, but if we can micro this villager a bit, and that's sad though, no, it didn't succeed in that. The hill really was, again, a big detriment there. And thus, first villager being picked by Alexander, who's also getting the scout back now, and running the archers still in the south, where he's walled off, so might actually end up losing both of those. Okay, Dragon could have had a worse defense here, surely, but losing that one villager and a minute of idle TC time. Seems like the stress is pretty real, but nice walling job there. And with the TC, Garrison gets the archers to go down. So it is significant eco damage, but taking the military lead now, so to speak. 4 archers against 3 skirms and an archer. Definitely Dragon there with the cheaper and more efficient army, so to say. And Alexander probably realizing this, pulling the units back. Don't think he wants to stick around for that long, actually, in Fuel Age here. But the issue is he doesn't really control his stone. At least though with the Ethiopians. If you guys know the team bonus, one of my favorite ones, you get outposts that don't cost any stone. So can get some of the vision even without controlling your own stone. And still put up those 2 TCs in the next age. Now probably might have been scared of a counterattack coming through, but Dragon looks not to be intent on doing that just for the time being. Makes another scout. Now resource wise though, it's pretty clear that Alexander is just looking to go up to the next age here. Didn't even get any blacksmith upgrades. I wonder if that is just the way people play nowadays here, but really seems to be going on the direct way here towards the next age. Still making some archers though, because he does have enough villagers on gold. So we'll get to the next age with a pretty significant amount of archers to upgrade to crossbows. Maybe at this point in time, if you're not moving out with your army though, I would have liked to see an outpost or 2, just because you're Ethiopians, and so that you know where the opponent strikes from if they were to actually come forward. So maybe that could have been a bit of an optimization here, but good awareness, moves off of the woodline before the enemy army arrives, and thus able to pull everyone away and be fine. Blacksmith going up now, and there is the upclick to the next age. Whereas on the other side for Dragon, that's what I was pointing out there, quite a bit more military here made in the end, especially with the scouts. 80 food apiece makes it pretty expensive and makes it pretty hard to keep up with the uptime of the opponent. Good job finding the gold as well, which is very awkwardly walled here, but it looks like Alexander will just have enough units around to defend up there as well. So I feel like if I'm the Ethiopians player in this game, I'm pretty happy with the game state. Eco KD still 1-0, hasn't lost any villages, although this is certainly a slight annoyance and slowing down his eco efficiency. But just being able to get up to the next age, putting up the second range already here in front of the TC, and having a pretty fine base walled in. I mean, the main stone is not in there, so I guess that's the only drawback, and the gold is a bit exposed. But Dragon is in no position to threaten that as of right now. Now putting up the market here is really struggling to get up to the next age behind the opponent. And oh, look at this, with the flashing upgrade now, can even deny the market from going up. How annoying is that? Dragon really needed that one to go up here in order to get up to the next age 2. It's looking pretty rough here, honestly, to defend against this. It's slowing her down so much as the skirmishers here, able to at least fight the archers off, will allow the market to finally be completed. But there's little pressure on Alexander, who's already reached castle age. Crossbowman upgrade on the way. How much can the Portuguese magic make up for here? That's what we'll have to see. Market finally up there, and you see with the usage of that castle age now on the way for the Portuguese. But that is certainly 3 to 4 minutes later than the opponent. Alexander with the Ethiopians, the most annoying archers in the game at this stage. Already crossbow upgrade, and that palisade is about to collapse. I don't think that wall is going to go up. I don't see it, honestly. Oh, this might be painful here in a second, as more and more crossbowmen start coming out. Free pikeman upgrade as well for the Ethiopians, just in case there were any cavalry from Dragon. This is looking rough to defend, I can't lie, boys. In go the crossbowmen. Villagers here in the south, oh boy, trying to get that wood line walled. I'm not sure how long that is going to stall the crossbowmen. Really nice micro by Alexander, trading efficiently into the skirmishers, who have decent blacksmith upgrades, actually. I didn't notice that. But Botkin arrow already in for Alexander too. And he's now walking in there. He's going to threaten the entire southern eco here too. And Dragon's still a minute away from Castle Age. Oh, the Ethiopians, they are so brutal right here. Not even going into a second TC. Don't even think he has an university yet or anything. Just pure crossbow pain train right now. Raining down over Portugal. Man, you hate to see it. Really, the only thing, well, you can do elite skirmishes, of course, but might just need a siege workshop at this point against this number of crossbowmen. But honestly, even siege with these numbers, pretty difficult to handle there. Let's see what approach Dragon is going to take here, as the pressure just keeps rising here. I like as well how Alexander doesn't even pivot, only now ends up making that second town center at home. He's just made a ton of crossbows, completely strangling Dragon here. And still just getting harassed a little bit here on the south is not distracting him a ton, honestly. 7-0 Eco KD, that's where the lead comes from right here. And with minimal idle TC time at home as well, I'm really liking what I'm seeing right now from the main. What to do about this here, really. Elite skirmisher upgrade is in no siege workshop. Just trying to handle this with the skirmishers. Well, over time that is going to work out, but how much eco damage are you able to sustain here and come back from with that secondary crossbow army of, well, 11 more about to come in from the east here. And just dodging out on those skirmisher arrows too. Well, it's not what we love to see here for the Portuguese. What can they do? Again, I suggested a siege workshop, but it looks like Dragon not deeming that necessary or feasible, since I guess the wood economy for that really wasn't there. That's what it looks like. Finally able to beat a couple of these crossbowmen back. We see 5 kills on those alive skirmishers. Contrast that though with the 12 kills on those crossbowmen. And you see overall KD 20-13. Pretty nice start. But all that said in the meantime, and wow, that is pretty advanced. I mean, look at this. He sniffed that out, Alexander. Sending that crossbowman down here to scout. Might have seen some villagers leaving, honestly, in that direction. Didn't catch that personally, but with that town center here, pretty sneaky by Dragon, I thought, but Alexander immediately was on it. Finds out about it, and again, brings the pain here now. With all these crossbows, there's 20 of them. I don't think you want to approach that with 7 hurt and wounded skirmishers of your own here. Trades commands, but we can see right there, there's no micro in the world that makes up for this number difference here, as the skirmisher number is cut in half already, and the crossbowman being traded back against a little bit, and all that really does here is buy time for the town center in the south to safely farm, but there's still that one crossbowman right there. Just keeps annoying, and we see the forward siege workshop. That's just pure aggression right here. Dragon's not catching a break, as it seems. That's a pretty tough spot to be in. More crossbowmen coming over. There's not even any safe eco space down here. Market being used. Stone being bought, and honestly, that means the second TC is going up, or... But where would we build another TC here if we're Dragon? That's an interesting one. We'll see, as the siege workshops from both players did come through, but looks like Scorpion first here for Dragon, also not having that greatest economy here. Struggling a bit with the wood to keep the siege workshop working. It's really, she's working with the minimum here. Pretty tough spot. And Alexander not halting the crossbowman production. Love to see it, and bringing the stable forward as well now. Alright. Skirmishers again be taking the shots here. Even with the Mangonel coming in now from the side, it's not an equal fight here. It's finally, at least with the Scorpion in the south, Dragon's able to beat back the opponent a little bit and free up that TC down there. Alright. Retreating once more into the base. Now that this crossbowman mass is getting pretty critical. The Magna to back it up, and there's another one coming. Knights out of the stable as well. I like the way Alexander is diversifying, because really that siege from Dragon is not going to do anything once a knight or two start coming out from the Ethiopians. There's no way that Dragon could make any monks or whatever to respond to that. There's no monastery inside, so this could be pretty painful here. That's the TC in the south. Seems to be the primary target right here. Trades with the Maginot, just barely though. Alexander's survives. Shot in the north. Ooh, alright. Nicely done here by Dragon. Look at the Maginot trades. Trading 1.9 Maginots for 1. Not too bad. Not that that's gonna greatly improve her situation. But maybe it's a good start. With the Knights though, I really don't see how she's going to handle that. If we look at her army here, really all she has is those skirmishes right now, and those don't typically fare well against cavalry, so not too excited about that prospect. As another villager goes down, and this southern TC could have been such a nice play, but has ended up just, I guess, distracting from the main base. But other than that, maybe more trouble than it's worth so far. It's a tough choice, and I agree with the play, obviously. This is also pretty excessive, but you know, I feel like Alexander can afford it at this point with the 20 villager lead. The gates are being ran down at the front now with all those units. Really, the siege and the knights, it's looking pretty rough here to defend against Imp on the way. 2 minutes for Alexander to get there. If he upgrades those 30-ish arbalests, well, that might be a pretty strong sign of where this is headed. Although this is a pretty interesting one. We're just tanking the tower here, and quick punish by Dragon, nicely done. Even controlling the Maginot nicely against the crossbows. I wonder if the knight down here is going to come into play against the siege, because again, the knights are really what makes this so horrible to deal with. Dragon has done a magnificent job getting value out of her Manganols, no question about it. But man, if just 1 or 2 knights were around there every time the Manganols move out, there's just no way to even keep them alive. You can't garrison them, remember, so Manganols, oof. Let's see how much longer she can keep this up. Meanwhile, 30C already going up for Alexander as well, on top of the imp timing that's coming in. At least he's not going for the forward castle, if that's the silver lining for Dragon. But she also not in possession of her main stone at all. Looks like she's mining stone down here at the TC though, so he's getting close to being able to drop a castle, and maybe that can secure some space for her. She's gonna sorely need one though here in a second, as Imp comes in for Alexander. And she calls it right here. It is reasonable. This point, alright, GG's. And aleksanderG takes the first map for his team. Remember, it's a play all 3, so we're going to get to see 3 games no matter what. Alright. Looks like we got our second game underway already as well, so hyped about that. And aleksanderG takes the #1 game, and they are the lower seeded team, so to speak, so we can definitely call this one an upset here to start our series off with. And oops, there we go. Let me just quickly transition into that second game. And that was a beauty to watch here. Alexander putting on a clinic. That was a pretty well played game with the Ethiopians. And we're gonna try and get that second game rolling here in a second. Yep, there we go. Okay. All right. Looks like I misread that. We're still in the process of getting the draft going. So yeah, sit back for a second, maybe grab some snacks for the continuation of the series, and we're gonna see the draft here for these two guys who are gonna bring on a very different level of elo play. So interested in seeing how different this ends up looking. Right, as we're setting up the draft here. Looks like there was some confusion, but that's fine, and that's great actually, because that's what these show matches are for, trying to test out the limits and the flaws of what the format looks like so far. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can sort that out. But that was a good thing that we have this. That we have this show match here to show us where maybe a handbook needs some updating, especially for the drafting section. All right. Okay, looks like we've got it sorted now. And we're gonna get there then. Okay, let me get you guys into the draft. So there we go. This is it. Game 2 of the PA3. This time around, MbL against Mihai. Prominent faces gracing our channel here. Very excited about that. And we've got the map draft again right here. Pretty unspectacular one, although it should be noted MbL seems to have rolled that first pick random. Maybe just let the time run out. Who knows? Who knows? But I guess we'll see. So whoops, yep, this is what we've got. Again, both players ended up opting for Arabia here, which is cool. I'm not gonna complain about that. It is the most familiar map to me, after all, and yep, seems like we ended up with Arabia here again. And then for the Civ picks, maybe the more interesting phase of the draft, it seems like a pretty similar one actually, and that's not too surprising. Well, because these teams are communicating with each other, obviously. So MbL and Dragon having similar priorities might not be also surprising, but we see for sure differences here in what the players prioritize based on their own strengths as well. And we see some new faces in this draft, so we'll see how that's gonna play out. Portuguese and Aztecs again for MbL side. On the other side, Mayans showing up again as well, but with the Spanish ban and things such as the Byzantines or Britons picks, we see some very interesting mix-ups as well. So, this is what the forces they have opted for now. Of course, again, 2 snipes by every player, making it so everybody is left with 2 civs in the end that they will have to play, and well, that they will have to play 1 off. So that means with 2 civs left, the opponent cannot be quite sure which one you end up heading into the game with. In this case, it's Khmer or Portuguese for MbL, and Mayans or Britons for Mihai. Alright, interesting one. Different ones than the previous one, and very, very curious, especially since Mayans and Britons both classic archer civilizations here on the side for Mihai. Is that a clear advantage for MbL? Does he feel like he has good anti-archer civs? I feel like maybe Mihai has read this, because honestly, if I were to have to play an archer civ against MbL, and MbL had these 4 civs at his disposal, Vietnamese and Aztecs might be the scariest ones out of those, so pretty heads up play there by Mihai to maybe snipe those 2 out. Maybe felt like he was a bit reliant on archers, and now facing either the Portuguese or the Khmer with his archers. Not sure which one of those well, MbL might end up pulling out here, and honestly, trying to predict, use conventional reasoning when assessing MbL's tactics is never a very conventional, or it is rarely a successful approach, I should say. So I'm not gonna assume I can guess or enter his mind here. But just strictly speaking, I mean, Khmer is just a more fun civ, isn't it? I mean, who are we kidding? So he's picking Khmer, right? Right? We'll see, I guess. Can't be sure, and that's the beauty of it. Still, I think it's a pretty interesting aspect of this drafting format, where you can really, yeah, go for some mind games here. Mihai, Mayans, and Britons, I guess, might not make the hugest difference, but there is still a difference between these 2 different strengths, for sure. Mayans with the OP Eagles in the late game as well. Britons with a super boosted early game here. Can go for some crazy timings with the sheep gathering bonus, for example, and the extra range overall obviously might fare better into certain specific units. So really is an interesting one. One might call it just a bit of randomness, but I think that the mind games and the tactics can be exploited here after the draft in the lobby as well with the civilization picks. Let's see then what this is going to be manifesting as into the game. Again, there's likely going to be a 3-minute delay on the lobby, at least if they use the default settings that I've suggested. Thanks to Amina, by the way, for following the channel. It looks like I missed that 10 minutes ago, but always nice seeing new faces around and interested in the tournament that I'm trying to run here. Of course, to everybody who is not in the Discord channel yet, highly recommend joining that as well. So again, now all that's left for us to do is wait for us for this lobby to launch. Got the drafts covered now, and we'll see if MbL can tie up the series for his team now. Okay, looks like we're getting in there pretty soon. MbL seems to have chosen, if I can spoiler that, and if that information that I'm receiving from the lobby is even correct, but he seems to have chosen the Portuguese again. Just like obviously Dragon had done in the previous game. And on the other side it looks like we've got the oops, let's not skip ahead in game too far. Okay, don't want to be skipping ahead and stuff. I'm gonna get you guys into the game here in just a second, because we're already on the way, and it's gonna be an exciting one, hopefully once more, as MbL against Mihai is going to determine if the series is already decided heading into the last game, or if we're gonna get an exciting 2v2 finale, as I'm hoping for here. And there we go. Whoops. All we want is the regular one-time speed. MbL on the left side once more at the Portuguese. Let's just throw up real quick here a civilization information. Well, might look familiar. We've just looked at this again. If you're just joining, these civ infos here are not quite updated to the latest patch, so sorry for any discrepancies. That is the case. But just in general, if you're interested in one or the other kinds of bonuses that these civs have, it's still a useful indicator there to have. Again, Portuguese, you kind of, I feel like at least, again, not very familiar with the civ, kind of want to just get to late game stage more often than not. Gold bonus on their units is pretty relevant in any type of game though. On the other hand, it is the Mayans now. So obviously, yeah, an archer civ, MbL knew that coming in here, but that's not all that the Mayans have to offer to Mihai. So definitely not as clear cut here. Again, the Eagles are super strong. We see, especially with Eldorado and Imp, a unit you pretty much never want to be facing, at least not in big numbers. As yeah, that tends not to go well in many cases. Plumed archers as the UU. Obviously, if you get a good number of those, also pretty nice. I was honestly, I'm also expecting the Britons here. I felt like, especially the range factor, could be really good against both Khmer and Portuguese. But I guess against the Portuguese, especially against organ guns, doesn't really matter if behind your eagles you have plumes or longbowmen. I feel like the job gets done either way. So might have overestimated the longbow or the long range strength in that regard a bit. But nonetheless, we've got a pretty high tier civilization matchup here, and we've got a high tier player matchup to boot. MbL against Mihai, two of the absolute top players on the ladder right now. In fact, if we take a quick glance there, MbL number 3 and Mihai having dropped a little bit after his sky high rise a couple of weeks back where he cracked the top 10, but certainly not to be counted out here. And with a victory in this game, could secure the Showmatch victory for his team already. So, well, stakes are pretty high for this being just a Showmatch. Should not deter MbL though, who's been in pressure situations, has performed well. Well, for maybe not obeying him as much this time around. But, well, let's look at the strategy and stop chatting bollocks, shall we? 4 on wood for Mayans in this on this one. We've got the very early barracks. You guys have seen this, especially in the King of the Desert tournament, obviously in the last month. Oh, honestly, 2 months back already. Time flies, doesn't it? We're getting just the regular French Drush, aren't we? A pre-miller, actually. Ooh, okay. And on the other side, we've got just, I was gonna say just 2 on wood, but it looks like MbL is now sending a few more. Definitely not going for a pre-miller, we know that. But up to the next 8 with 18 villagers, just as Dragon did in the previous game. So you can see how synced up those two are in terms of their strategy. Again, it's the same civilization in the same household. So maybe not the most surprising there. MbL this time around not losing his scout, so already going better in that regard. Ends up finding out about the 4 on wood especially. I'm not sure if he found the barracks all the way in the south. No, he has not, so that might be interesting to him. Let's see how he reacts to what he sees, as there come the 2 militia. And, well, he knows now about that barracks being somewhere at least, and Mihai obviously later to the next age here, going up with the 21 wheels, but already having some pressure with the militia there, causing MbL to have to spend some of his attention back at home on the wood line. And gold coming out only now for Mihai on the way to feudal age. Nothing unorthodox here, to be honest. Is he gonna get that villager pick off? It doesn't look like it, but again, it's all about distracting, causing some distraction and eco damage, at least some idle time if nothing else, and he's succeeding in that definitely. MbL in the meantime, he's only getting a spearman out right now. Doesn't have his first production building out yet. No, the stable hasn't been completed there, and meanwhile just trying to harass with the 1 scout on offense. So, well, Mihai, is he gonna be happy with the impact of that 2 militia rush? Possibly. The thing is, I'm really not sure about this matchup here. My lack of knowledge about the Portuguese really coming to bite me, because that you really would have to know what the overall goal is for both these guys going into the feudal and castle ages here. Because I would have thought you could definitely get feudal age pressure going with the Mayans just off of archers, having the cheaper archers. Maybe that could have been enough, I thought, and with the obviously with the inherent eco advantage that you have going in with the extra villager. But looks like he decided the militia play was necessary to get pressure early on here, and delays his military production to be sure. MbL now in with the scouts, harassing the gold, but nice job by Mihai having a spearman prepared for exactly that scenario. Now having to divide his attention a bit though, because those scouts are splitting up, being very annoying. At the same time has lost his militia on offense right now as well. I'm not sure how well this has gone for him. Oh, he's now losing pretty significant amount here if he's not careful. Did a good job though moving the spearman, so this is pro level play, guys. No doubt about it. He's been able to minimize his losses for sure, but not being fully walled up here already behind his French drush is a bit sad. Just I guess that's what he was hoping for, right? Buying himself time to wall up with and then get castle age, and with a bit of an advantage. Maybe that was the play. Instead though, now being idled quite a bit here and not managing to get a hold of these scouts really has cost him quite a bit. Now big trades coming in, losing a villager here. That's the first one of the game coming down. In exchange though, MbL losing a few of those scouts and a lot of HP on the rest of them. Is able to just head out through the southern area though, it seems. So alright, I feel like MbL after all pretty happy with how this has gone down. Mihai idling the TC here quite a bit. You can see he's struggling for food. The transition into farms has been anything but smooth. And wow, that's 50 seconds idle. Hasn't gone ideal. But once again, looks like MbL trying to get in there. Okay, he's once more being annoying. Little scout HP left. Look at this. That's an average of 8 HP on these scouts right here, but it's not stopping him from being annoying there. Good gate though. He's about to lose a few of those, isn't he? But more idle time being caused here. I wonder, maybe you could have kept those alive, those 3. But cannot be sure, right? He's getting a bit more info here. He's causing a bit more distraction. And I guess overall just losing 1 more scout. Not the end of the world. Also idling the woodline just with these 2 skirmishes here apparently. How annoying can you be? Well, MbL, he's not walling. He's going balls to the wall forward. And he's done pretty significant damage, I dare say. 40 seconds idle TC time more on his opponent. And he's got a lot on gold right now, trying to get up to the next age. And he's going to get there way, way quicker than Mihai is at this point. 2 villages up as well on the Mayans. Remember, this is more significant than might appear at first glance. Mihai has quite a few army, though, to move out with. Is MbL spotting this? Oh, he is. Okay. He knows what's up. That gives him time to prepare. He's not walled at home, so getting the heads-up warning here is pretty significant. More archers from the north. MbL's not gonna get to coast to Castle H just like that. He's not fully walled up. He doesn't have a ton of skirmishers. 5 of them, well, it's pretty fine. And Mihai, having been spotted, I guess, just feels like, okay, I have to cut my losses here. Trying to get up to Castle H ASAP. You see, selling both of his stone packages here. And still not able to click up, sadly. Whereas MbL already on the way with his stone. Still in the back. It's a much better looking Portuguese spot than in the previous game. And we'll see how that goes for MbL. If he's actually going to be able to ride that one out to victory. Mihai still not out of it yet, though. Already clicking up to Castle H behind MB. And, well, once he's getting there, he's at least gonna have a few archers to upgrade as well. So, well, could be worse, right? That's what you always tell yourself in these types of situations. He's still Mayans, and remember, Mayan privilege is a real thing after all. Double range now established. On the other side, MbL, well, he's been double range, it seems, and got a decent mix of archers and skirms going as well. And the big thing is he knows what he's gonna get hit by, right? I mean, it's gonna be crossbow every day of the week here when you're playing against the Mayans, so not a huge surprise. And the only question really is, what is he bringing with that? How many is he bringing? And how good is the eco gonna be behind that? Looks like MbL once more with the better Castle Age timing is gonna try to look forward to see what the opponent is up to see if there's any damage to be found. Mihai, at this point at least, has closed off the walls, and it's gonna be a good choice here now that MbL's coming forward. Crossbow plus Botkin on the way. Mihai at the same time lacking a bit behind this, but still he's gonna get the fletching upgrade pretty soon. And then he's gonna have to make a tough choice here. Is he gonna go for the siege workshop? I don't think so, honestly. But let's see. Gonna be forced off of gold for the time being. And he goes for the siege workshop after all. Okay, I like to see this. I'm not as new, because I feel like I always go for the siege workshop in these situations. Glad to see that I'm not the only one doing that. And Mihai now gonna have to go for some siege against the immediate threat here. He's still got a few archers to upgrade, right? But, I mean, even if those all were fully upgraded crossbows, it doesn't feel great trading into that mixed crossbow skirmisher type boy group that MbL's got going on down here. And even if the knight's behind it already as well. Remember, he had the stable opening. And, okay, Mihai's got a few of these crossbows harassing forward. Looks like he's actually got one villager kill off with that. And he's now going to have to defend at home against some cavalry, among other things that we've already seen, of course. So, how is he going to be able to do that? Crossbows again from both sides. We see, similarly to how Alexander was able to pressure from multiple sides, MbL doing just that at this point. Mihai's base is not quite as vulnerable as Dragon's was in the previous game. But, well, his offensive assault has been stalled out, and MbL is playing pretty daringly here. He's not fully walled off here by any means, but, well, he can afford to, I guess, because he's putting immense pressure on the offensive end at the same time. In the north here, still trying to break through is Mihai, but more importantly, can he keep the crossbowmen out at home? Can he keep his siege weapons alive? Somehow this knight's not in there. Still, surprise must have been through the south as well. And that's going to be pretty uncomfortable to deal with for the siege. But looks like first knight about to go down here. MbL hasn't actually produced anymore. And while he doesn't have the food economy for that, it would appear. all the blacksmith upgrades been quite expensive. Ballistics actually coming in from here. That's why I like to see some aggressive archer play here in Castle Age, getting the ballistics nice and early. Mihai is finally in though, so he could cause some damage now as well in MbL's eco. He's gone for that second TC. He is in no position to make villagers out of 2 TCs. So he's going to need to put up a few more farms before that's going to be a reality for MbL, but in general the slight eco lead has been maintained throughout the game. Looks now though that army numbers kind of tilting a bit in Mihai's favor here, and especially with the siege behind it, this could get a bit ugly for MbL. He's gonna need to do something about this, either make a few more knights. Again, eco is really not looking good for that, or well, that's some siege of your own. I'm not sure how you deal with that army that Mihai is about to send forward here in a second. Alright, it looks like overall here the micro is pretty good between these two. It looks like for MbL, because I don't think this looked like a winning battle for him to me in the beginning, but feels like he's going to be pretty happy with how that turned out, keeping quite a few crossbows alive as well, and army numbers all of a sudden in his favor, so he must have done some good there. No question, the siege is still going to be annoying without the knights, but hey, I mean, not too bad, not too bad at all. It gets another villager kill over here, or does he? What is this movement? Alright, finally goes down here against ballistics, guys. What was that? 8 units firing. That woman entering the matrix right there, no doubt. 9 crossbowmen going forward. 30C being put up behind this. Again, this is just the most alibi walls I've ever seen. Like, I mean, he's just pretending to be walled, honestly. But, well, he's gonna get the TC up, isn't he? Oh, Mihai now sees it. He's got the siege behind it. Maybe he can stop this, actually. Okay, never mind. Doubt TC. Or is it? Okay, looks like MbL is intent on finishing this through. Oh, he's gonna force it up, isn't he? With the villagers. Oh, it's painful, the shots that he's taken here. Oh, that TC was a costly one. Look at all the dead bodies around it. Wow. What was that? At least 8 villagers going down, I have to feel like. Eco KD 12 to 6 at this point for Mihai. And yeah, it is 3 TC for MbL, but his food economy is still, well, not great at all. Losing a bunch more villagers to the crossbowmen here. What a counter-strike from Mihai. Actually getting huge damage done on offense in the meantime, being pretty safe at home. I don't think MbL is getting a lot done with the crossbowmen here. But, man, okay. You really can't count these guys out at any time. It's going back and forth here. The mangonel action. MbL gonna have to do something about that. He's getting the archery upgrade right now. Headed armor. Not sure that's gonna make the difference against the Mangos, but well, now he is on 3 TCs. He would just need to go into a bit more farming economy to sustain that will production. For the time being, he's just getting that front TC chipped away at though, and Mihai a lot of pressure here. He's got the crossbows forward. I mean, the army numbers aren't that dissimilar, but half of MbL's army was on offense, not accomplishing a ton at the same time here. 17 to 8 in villager KD. Mihai with a 6 villager lead. Make that 7 right now. And MbL now with the numbers at home again. Good movement on the crossbows. Is he going to get that mango to go down cleanly? Oh, no, he's not. That's a big shot for Mihai. My lord, is he just... Is he going to be able to do that? It looks like slowly but surely the mangonel is about to go down. But MbL not really daring to fully commit for it, especially with the Scorpion coming in from the back side. And still some harassment going on in the west as well. Oh no. Poor MbL. He's gonna have to clench those butt cheeks if he wants to keep this series open, guys. 3 TCs, but not producing villagers here. That's the decision that I'm daring to question here. If that was truly ideal. Because Mihai's got all the pressure right now. And he's Mayans after all, so he's gonna be happy with the way this Castle Age has played out so far. He's losing a few crossbow here. I feel like I'm not sure that's the trade he wants to take. Oh no, he must have looked away here for a second, because honestly, if you have siege, I feel like you never want to take an archer against archer fight. Crossbowmen now getting shot away at with that mangonel. How good is MbL gonna have that micro down? Very nice movement there against the mangonel, but still it's pretty tanky itself, so MbL's gonna need to chip away at it. Oh, is he gonna get that one to go down? It looks like just barely. Mihai finally able to kill it off is MbL, but a lot of HP taken, and more mangonels coming in on the back side of things with the knights again from MbL. I feel like that is a pretty good choice against the mangonels, because otherwise, how are you gonna get those down? Oh, it looks like this one is gonna survive as well. Nicely done by Mihai, really. Good job there. He's got the crossbows coming forward with 3 mangonels accompanying them now. Still more in production. MbL, only 1 knight on the field. He's got his own siege workshop. He's not been able to produce out of it. The food eco to back up the entire engine is just not there right now. In the meantime, yeah, it is just 1 TC for Mihai, but at least that one's working, right? And his army is nothing to scoff at as well. He's brought the villager to repair, crucially, nicely done. His own archer padding is coming in, and oh, actually MbL was grabbing the leather armor earlier. Didn't even see that. So his upgrades are really good, can't lie. He's finding another nice point of pressure here in the north, but look at that nasty movement. I mean, this guy, seriously, he's just, I guess he's just not dying today. And Mihai comes in to save the day. More importantly though, coming in to ruin the day up in Norway, and more stones being cast back and forth, feeling like Mihai, the more impactful stone thrower out of the 2 right now. Mangonel terror on MbL's front door. He's still got the crossbow forward. That is pretty elite. I mean, these 2 guys really able to pay a ton of attention here on both sides of the map, managing those armies really nicely. MbL now with his pocket play, his signature move, the mangonels, if you will. Let's see if those trades can turn it around for him. That was almost a kill there. That would have been pretty big here. Equalizing the numbers. Okay, he's finally getting that picked down. But there's still a bunch of crossbowmen here for Mihai. MbL throwing those stones, getting a 1-for-1 out of it as well. And it looks like the trades are going pretty well for the Mangonel Master here, honestly. Mangonel be lame. That's what I guess the name actually stands for. And he gets pretty good trades here to start off with. Villager numbers now finally in his favor. Looks like idle time been minimized a bit here. And good trades here. What is Mihai doing? No, he must have lost track out of his... Oh, he must have lost track of his crossbowman forward, while the crossbowman and his base were terrorizing him. And that's just 1 second of disfocus here, costing him so much in the army department. MbL all of a sudden taking control of the map, it feels like. Well, the middle looks like still really good trade came back in Mihai's favor. But cannot be ecstatic about that, I don't think. This is still a close game. We're blessed with one right here, folks. As MbL and Mihai going head to head with Mangonel and Crossbow Micro. Some of the beautiful, most beautiful things in the game, if you ask me. The trades coming in back and forth with ballistics, with the siege weapons. Pretty nice. And again, Mihai off camera. Getting pretty good shots off, it seems like. And always bringing the repair villager is key in those siege battles, so we'll see. MbL, good job on the repairs. Phantom here, nice to see you in chat. MbL needs more mangonel. Yep, exactly. I think it's follower emotes on my chat, I think, the mangonel ones, so feel free to grab those if you want. But that's exactly what I want to see as well. More mangonels. Regardless of if that's ideal play or not. Man, it's just what we enjoy around here. First relics about to be picked up as well. Mihai, decent investment there, especially if you suspect MbL might bring more knights. This could be a big one here. Double stone throw, and the MbL mangonels do end up surviving here. Though that's a big crossbow mass here in the north, so he's got to be careful with that. He's taken a lot of damage from that one singular mangonel, and he cannot afford to lose those siege weapons without a fight. He's getting great shots in here, though. That's the exact opposite of what I just was scared of happening here. And honestly, look at the trades for MbL. He's raining complete terror uphill there. Hailing shots from down below. Mihai again losing quite a bit here. These fights really going back and forth. He's raiding at home though against MbL. Man, those crossbowmen here, I didn't even see those sneak in, but they are pretty impactful themselves. MbL winning the big fight in the middle, but at what cost? In the north, he's gotten completely idle on his wood line. In the south, his gold has been completely cleaned up as well. Eco KD 32 to 15. Mihai really must have gotten a few kills out of both those crossbow groups that neither us nor MbL ended up noticing. And again, the villager numbers are back to pretty similar masses here for both players. Alright, MbL now controls the middle. That means he can start knocking at the door here. But as we see, it's not easy against enemy Mangonel to do that. Both players keep their siege alive for now. Alright, MbL again. Pretty good trade here. Oh, I really can't tell who's winning here, honestly, guys. It is so difficult to tell. It's a 4th TC going up for MbL. Again, still just one from Mihai. Surely it's gonna have to come to bite him at some point. Mango goes down uphill, though. And really, as another good shot comes in from MbL, but with the back and forth here constantly, these guys are head-to-head. Repairs coming in for MbL. Again, I've emphasized how important that is in siege duels, such as this one right here. Looks like good shot by Mihai to make sure he doesn't lose a ton there for little in return. Looks like MbL's running out of archer numbers a bit. He's got the trade card going though, so he can't lose at this point, right? I mean, there we go. Once that one comes out, you know things get real. Alright, 4 TC up and well, not running actually, but you know, it is up, and it must look menacing to Mihai, who knows that, yeah, the opponent is meant to outboom me, but somehow in terms of score, Mihai is still ahead, so he knows the villager numbers cannot look that horrible for him. He needs to keep pressing the military advantage though, because if you refuse to go for more TCs, and he doesn't have any stone of course, so not really tons of options there, but if you refuse to do that, you have to keep doing military damage around the clock. You cannot rest, because anytime you rest, the opponent is going to get to build up. Mangonels galore here. Look at this in the middle. 6 mangonels total, firing back and forth. What is this micro here on both sides, man? Honestly, MbL somehow keeps getting the picks uphill. He's getting great shots in with his mangonels, and again, winning a very unlikely fight here, uphill. And the mangonel numbers here, I guess, were just what saved the day for him. And up to imp is Mihai with no castle. Now going pretty heavily onto stone, at least, though. But very little army as well. I wonder if this imp click... Oh, what is he gonna do in imp? He's gonna arrive to imp with way worse eco. Like, way worse eco. And no castle to immediately produce with. As well as no army to upgrade. Well, no army is a stretch, but little army to upgrade. So I wonder how well that is gonna serve him if this imp timing truly was a good idea. But he's committed to it now, I guess. In comes MbL. He doesn't have a ton of military himself, but he's got more than his opponent right now. Taking out the monk, taking out the gold villages in the south. Oh boy, I'm not sure about this TC. This seems a bit apologetic, you know, a bit like, oh shit, I should have had one here a while ago. Well, looks like a bit late on that. Might lose 5 or 6 villagers there. If he brings the crossbowman, should be fine getting that one up, but losing all the pressure in the middle at the same time. So okay, the TC is going up, fine. Again, another 1-for-1 mangonel trade, fine and all. Feel like Mihai cannot afford that right now though. Right, he stalls the push a bit. MbL cannot simply reinforce with more mangonels super quick. But the 1-for-1 trades aren't as good when you're clearly behind an eco and cannot reproduce as easily. And, well, not being able to reproduce as easily might... Actually, that joke might not be appropriate for all audiences. Gotta watch my tongue a bit. But nonetheless, the point stands. I'm not a fan of these trades right here for Mihai. He's not getting the greatest ones. He's up to imp now. I wonder what MbL reads this as, because he knows that he's now taking the score lead. He knows that somehow, well, he's got to have the eco lead at some point. Question is just, what has Mihai planned behind this? Is he just going to go for arbalests? And that's the only option he has, at least to our knowledge. But MbL might not be entirely aware. And there's the castle finally. Trying to go up here in the middle for Mihai. I wonder if that's realistic though. Pretty far forward actually. Considering the lack of pressure he has. He's going forward now. Actually a watchtower attempted to be put up, but Mihai just in time to destroy that. And getting the castle up as a result of it now. Pretty nicely done here. Okay, he's buying himself some space. And he's again taken back the map control. This is one of the closest games I've cast, guys. I mean, honestly, we're 50 minutes in, and it's going back and forth with MbL with a huge eco lead, though. So if he survives these next 5 minutes, he should have this one in the back, right? But he's nowhere near Imp. So if Mihai is able to keep his army well, then there's an argument for him actually being in a good spot here. So honestly, I wouldn't want to judge too fast. Mihai is dead, says Phantom in chat, but well, that was 2 minutes ago, so who knows if that holds up. The arbalests here I expect to come in pretty soon, but hasn't queued the upgrades just yet, just cause, you know, his eco situation is looking pretty devastating here. Alright, he's coming in the south as well. Good tower placement though by MbL. He kind of seems to know that, yeah, he just needs to control these entrances, should be fine with that. Mihai just gonna bite the sour apple, I guess, and waltz through. Gonna lose those crossbowmen surely, though, against the Mangonel, isn't he? Meanwhile, in the middle, the first traps are coming out. Let's just see how this Mangonel trade comes in. Ooh, nicely done! I'm saying this often, but crossbowmen in low numbers really good against siege, honestly. That was good value there. Able to keep the crossbows alive. And now in the middle, also able to push. So Mihai is not to be counted out just yet. Yeah, he's 30 villages down. Yeah, he doesn't even have the Arbalest upgrade in, but he's got the siege. And as long as the traps are alive and firing, you're feeling pretty good about this as Mihai, don't you? Again, MbL, he's fully at the limit in terms of resource spending. And he's running out of rest too. Where is his gold? I don't think he's got any gold left here at home. Within his kind of walled, well, it's not even walled, but within his controlled area. He's now being forced to go forward and look for some gold somewhere. Oh, unfortunately for him, there's no gold at all in the south. All the gold is focused in the north right here. This is looking rough for MbL. He's not got any gold left other than the one that he's getting trapped away from right here. If he cannot do something about this soon, feels like he's gonna lose this game. Okay. MbL needs 39 skirms is what Phantom calls in chat. Alright, that's the build, I guess. Well, not sure if skirms alone are gonna take out the traps though. Mihai trying to make things worse now. Force the issue with the Doubt-esque forward castle. And gonna take out the gold TC in the middle here. Again, there's no gold left for MbL at all. He's got 0 gold at home. Is there a way back in here without any gold? Oh, this is big. Look at this. He just lost the Mangonel without getting a shot off. That's a ton of gold to spend here if you cannot produce anymore, right? So, poor Portuguese look like they might actually grab a second loss here in the series. I mean, seriously, Mihai, he's super far behind in eco, yeah, but what is MbL gonna do to take back the map, to take back the military, and to take back the gold? Personally, don't really see it right now. The trap's just relentlessly rolling forward. The crossbowman, he's not even thinking about getting the obelisk upgrade, guys. He's just trading into the skirmishes like it's nothing. And MbL, he's got one Cav Archer, one trade card. But while those horses might look nice, don't think they're super efficient against trebuchets. Second castle has gone up. Oh boy. This is looking great for Mihai, I gotta say. He's getting harassed a bit on the sides. He cannot stress about this now, though. If all MbL's got is towers, because he's really strapped for gold, surely Mihai can keep his calm here and counteract that. Another castle forward. I'm not sure if Mihai's got his priorities in order. I'm not sure more castles is what he needs. He's already trapping down MbL stuff here. But sure, I mean, why not? Why not? The get out of my game triple castle, I guess. To make sure. Would just like to see him take care of the stuff at home, but maybe I guess the main battle is more important and he's trying to push forward here. Brutal Army saying go Romania here, and it looks like his chance will be hurt today. Mihai having a banger game here. After a bit of a rough feudal age, man, what a back and forth in castle that somehow results in him being able to push away MbL entirely off the entire map, honestly. No gold at all left for him. How much longer is he going to be able to keep this one up? It is MbL, the notorious, well, cockroach. Don't want to overuse that, but I guess that is his official title. Is the trap? Oh no, how brutal. Oh, it's just, man, you didn't have to do him like that, Mihai. I mean, come on. What is this? That guy was as good as dead already, but on the last second pulls in the repair villagers. You know how exhausting it is to take a trap down to this low HP with just a handful of skirmishers, and he just heals it up in the last second. That's brutal. It really is. Now in the north, MbL trying to get a TC up. Finally has found some more gold. He's got control over it, but at this point... Oh no, never mind. What am I saying? That's Mihai. Oh boy. Oh boy. Nah, it's over, man. It's over for the guy. What a crazy match. And serious here. I mean, honestly, nice preparation there. Whatever, nice strategy by Team Mihai and Alexander. They've come out swinging in their 1v1s. And it looks like they're gonna take the PA3 serious victory here in the second game. Because really I can't see MbL doing anything about this without the gold that he's surely not going to get back. And the eco lead at this point, well, it's still 30 villagers, but are those 30 villagers even working? Well, for the time they are, but is that going to be enough? Not realistically, is it? MbL trying to put up a side base, trying to be as annoying as possible, right? I mean, he's doing all the right things at this point, I guess, but he's not really working with a lot, is he? The trebuchets, and that's what I said earlier, right? What's important for Mihai is just keep those trebuchets firing for the villagers. He's bringing the town folk to rush down the traps, and look at how tanky it is nonetheless. It's a rough look. He's losing his towers, the poor guy, and he's losing his entire forward too. Nah. I'm sticking with it. This is one of the craziest ones I've cast, really, I can't lie. This Castle Age was such an amazing look. You couldn't tell who would win until like 50 minutes into the game or whatever. At this point though, it is firmly consolidated in Mihai's hands. And he's got the gold. 20 villagers gap at this point. I still think can well be made up for by just the positioning that Mihai holds. His castle wall all throughout the middle. And he's controlling the north, ironically, where all the gold is at. Pretty unfortunate for MbL that he diversified to the south, where he found out that there wasn't in fact any gold there. Well, couldn't have known, I guess. Couldn't have known. So he's kept his trade card alive. I respect that, but well, I guess that is the closest thing he's gonna get to gold in this game. So I see why he would be a bit sentimental about that. Still though, I mean, Mihai can't really push with crossbows, so he's gonna have to take it slow and disciplined. I think he should bring some mangonels if he doesn't want to go into eagles, because frankly he can't with the eco that he's got right now. Just bring a few mangonels to take care of the skirmishers, right? Is what I would advise. He stabilized really nicely at home though, so that is that is to be complimented. MbL trying to raid with light cap, but well, that goes about as well as you would imagine here. Arbalest upgrade finally coming in as well for Mihai, by the way. He's losing a bit here to the skirmishers that he doesn't really need to be fighting, I don't think. But again, as I said, as long as the traps are firing, he's in a fine spot. Why are the Arbalests dying though? Why are the Arbalests being sent to the dogs? Yeah, finally, MbL gives in here. What a game! What a game here for Mihai. Whew! Alright, 111 villagers. And I agree, at this point maybe you can start thinking of going into Eagles, but he's got 0 blacksmith decks for that. That's why I was saying he'd need some more time before that is an option. But what a game! Team Mihai. Alright, let me just give these guys their draft. And then we'll get into that as well, but already the serious victory here for Mihai and Alex. So congrats to them, man. As the lower rated players, that isn't an easy feat here. Respected a lot. Okay, looks like they're going into the draft right now. And we'll see. There's obviously a different type of draft, since it is a 2v2 to close out the series with. And we'll see how that goes for them and where the priorities lie, because that's obviously very different drafts to go with. I mean, strategy-wise, obviously, you're not just picking the highest priorities, it's you're also trying to get a nice matchup here. And if you guys not familiar with the system of this tournament, the third game is always on Nomad. So it is a 2v2 on Nomad here to close out the series with. And the teams are going to draft for that here in a second. Let me actually open the draft for y'all so we can watch along. Yes, there we go. Okay. Yep. Let me get you guys a closer look. Yeah. All right, into the draft here for this remaining game of the series. This is the last one for today's stream. Let's make sure it'll be a banger. we've got the ban phase right now that is hidden. And then again, quite similarly, teams will take turns picking two saves at a time until both teams have 5. Then we'll get 1 snipe apiece, so that 4 saves are left for both teams. And of course, since it is a 2v2, each team will then pick any 2 out of their 4 remaining civs to go into the game with. And remember, it is going to be on Nomad. So that's what we're going to be closing this out with. Bands being the Malians, Vietnamese, Spanish, and Lithuanians. All right. Nomad again, so the priority is obviously going to be different from the Arabia games that we just saw. And Persians first pick, pretty smart. I feel like, man, from my low elo perspective, nothing more annoying than good old Persians on Nomad. Well, that's a lie. There's more annoying stuff, but they're just consistently good, I feel like. So pretty smart pick up there. Mihai's team now getting to counter with 2 picks themselves. And remember, there's only 1 snipe at the end of this draft model, so you can't really adjust a lot here at the end of things, and it's gonna come down to, even more so, to the mind games going into the pick phase and then into the actually lobby in terms of which 2 civs you actually end up selecting for the game. Alright, Malay, Berbers, Koreans, Mayans. On the other side, we're just seeing regular good Nomad civs. Actually, I don't even think Mayans are that uber great on Nomad. Love to see some Koreans. Do I have my Koreans emote here? Hey, love me some turtle ship emotes. That would be a great one to close out this series with. I just want to see some turtle ships on Nomad. Can't be me that's the only one building that unit, right? Right? Well, it is me, I know. But still, would love to see some of those. Other than that, Dravidians here coming in for Mihai now. Well, we're just seeing the classics here. Nomad, nothing spectacular there. What even is still left on the board? Let's see, what are we expecting? Well, Spanish are banned. I didn't see that. Italians is still one of those that I might see. The Sicilians, for people who are fans of shenanigans. Burmese actually coming out from Mihai here, interestingly. Italians now picked up by MbL's side. Portuguese still up, I guess. Japanese still up. All right. I have no idea how good Romans are. Japanese coming in right there. All right. And on the other side, what's going to be the last pick there? Well, we'll see, I guess. Not a ton of S tier Nomad options left, I guess. Vikings are still up if one were a fan of those. I'm not sure, personally. Maybe I'm just a hater. Mongols coming in for Mihai. Okay, love to see it. We love to see Mongols. Again, now 1 snipe per team to close out this draft with. So then there's going to be 4 civs left, out of which 2 will be selected. Going into the game, the opponent will not know which 2 civs you actually play when going into the game. So that's going to be interesting. No, the Koreans ban straight into the heart. Why? Oh, that's sad. Can't hide it, can't hide it. But well, these are the matchups then. The potential matchups, I guess. Japanese, Italians, Malians, or Persians against Malay, Berbers, Burmese, or Mongols. 2v2 between our newbies and our beasts here to close out the day. MbL and Dragon against Mihai and Alexander. And looks like there we go. We've got the lobby up as well. So should be getting underway pretty soon. Shall we see where this one goes? I'm excited because obviously this is the first time we're putting these draft formats to the test, and gonna be interesting to see who's got the strategy down, who's theorized, who's seen all the Doctor Strange 10,000 different universes and knows which civs to pick right here. Trying to get in the lobby, and then we'll go from there. Any predictions for what we'll see? Let's see. Is there any clear civ picks that we're looking for right here? Oops, that's not what I want. Okay. Is there anything obvious? Well, I just feel like, I don't know. I mean, Persians are just so nice. I don't know how good a Nomad player each of these four guys are, especially like for our lower elo players. Lower elo, in quotes, obviously. Could be interesting. I feel like Persians are just so basic, though. I feel like Persians can't go wrong with those. What alongside them, though? I guess you would want to see some archers. Maybe Italians. Maybe Persians, Italians is something I could see. On the other side, there is options there, definitely. I mean, Berbers are really cool civ. I mean, you can go into your camel archers, you can just go knights as well. So they are pretty flexible in that regard, as well, going off of Castle Age, obviously. Aside from them, I feel like Mongols and Burmese are pretty unconventional nomad picks, aren't they? Feels like it, at least. Berbers, Malay, Burmese, Mongols. Oh, it's a rough one, honestly. Is it just Malay Berbers? I don't know. Because I would love to see Mongols, and obviously, like, if you've got Hunt, you can make them work on any map, I suppose. Yeah, but are they the greatest pick on Nomad? Let's approach it from that angle. Maybe if you think you're playing against Persians, Italians, just because that's the one I threw out here. If you're thinking, okay, maybe they pick Italians, Persians, what would be the answer there if I'm on Team Mihai? It's interesting at this point. How much do I even want to contest water if that's what they're going for? Am I gonna get to set up a massive Malay fish boom? Probably not. Don't think that's how you typically play Nomad either way, but well, it's I feel like I just love Berbers. I would be really surprised if Berbers wasn't in there. And alongside them, I mean, Burmese are pretty cool, and they are certainly somewhat flexible too. But well, I'll be surprised. I'll be surprised. Not a huge water player myself, so I can't give any huge professional insight there. Okay. Let's go, guys. Looks like we're gonna get going with our last game of the day pretty soon here to close out our show match here. Prominent AOE2 figures in there. Big thanks to everybody for participating in this one, obviously, and to anyone who's interested watching this on YouTube or on Twitch, look in the video description or in the chat, depending on where you're watching. And check out the Discord server. Just come by, even if you just want to watch some games, if you just want to watch the games of the actual tournament, if you're looking to stream them. But if you're at all interested in playing, I would, of course, also be more than glad if you're joining the server, trying to find some partners for the event, a partner, I should say, and go from there. More than happy to have anyone involved. So sure, just join up if you will. It's for free, you know. So would love to see that. Anyways, it seems it's gonna be 1.5 more minutes until we get in there. And it looks like for the civ picks, maybe we can already tease that. It looks like we've got Mayans and Persians, actually. Ooh, fancy, okay. Going Mayans, Persians. What did I have there? Italians, Persians was what I was suggesting. On the other side, we have Burmese, Malay. Okay, fancy. Now, didn't see that one coming. Was really expecting Berbers on their side, but well, that's interesting. It's less obviously great water sieves than I had expected, but I guess you typically actually don't need that. Don't need the entire team to have great water sieves, do you? I mean, not gonna pretend to know the actual details of the AOE2 2v2 Nomad meta, but nonetheless a bit surprising to me. So we've got Persians and Mayans, interestingly, against those Burmese and Malian and Malay. Did I say Malians earlier? I hope I didn't. It's Malay, of course. All in accordance with our draft. No cheaters. 10 seconds here until we get in. It's gonna be hype. Let's make it a banger to close out the series with. What are we gonna get here? It is Nomad. Anything can happen on Nomad, as I like to say. Alright, looks like we're getting in. Capture Age loading up. Drum roll. There we are. Perfect. Okay, I'll get you guys into game without any more distractions here. There we go. In-game audio on as well. Let's just enjoy the show, guys. It's gonna be a team match here. MbL and Dragon against Alexander and Mihai. It's gonna be chaos all the way, I hope. That's what I signed up for here, at least. Looks like the foundations are going down here very closely, actually, for Mihai and Alexander. Not as close for MbL and Dragon. I wonder how well she's going to deal with that, being very close to the opponent. It is pretty wallable for her, luckily, but it might look a bit tough here if the opponent is going for early pressure. Alright, we'll see where that goes. Now, the flip side, the downside of planting super close together in Nomad is that you likely will miss out on some resources if you have to share your hunt and your boards. And if the opponent is able to pressure you and keep you confined to your little area, oftentimes you're losing all the map control pretty easily at that point. So it's really on them to try and break out early and establish a big pressure. Yeah, Dragon faced with them off the get-go. Gotta be pretty scary. I wonder when they're gonna know about this, what their information is looking like right now. It doesn't look like... Well, obviously, no, she should have seen the foundations go up, right? So she should know. Should know about both those treaty boundaries there. Going forward to lame the deer, I assume? Interesting. Let's see what the strategy is gonna look like here. Remember, guys, it's the last game of our set, so no more fun after this. But regardless, it's been pretty chaotic and entertaining already. Now, interesting. I guess maybe Dragon just trying to see and trying to get information here, scouting around what the opponent has, where they are, where walls are possible. Now making sure to get the boar home as well. Okay, I'm not hating what I'm seeing so far. Everybody seems to have gone for pretty conventional openings. Looks like MbL's team a little bit faster on the villager production right now. And hey, let's just throw up for a second the civ information here. Just in case some people are wondering. They are pretty big. Maybe I could decrease those in size going forward. I've got Persians and Burmese as two civs here for MbL and for Mihai's team. And obviously, as I said, Persians pretty basic, pretty cool civ to have on Nomad. Can't really go wrong with them. For Burmese, I mean, monastery stuff is pretty well known, and the attack on the infantry is what comes to mind for me. But the 3 lumber attacks gonna be pretty nice for water maps too. So, well, you're not gonna hate that, I suppose. And seeing the relics, I guess. Hey, Who would hate on that? Am I right? On top of that, we've got the Malay and the Mayans. Let's just show their info real quick as well. If anybody is wondering, Mayans just a super cool civ in general with a good eco, great resources, and yeah, good archers and eagles if they get there. But Malay, more of the traditional naval civ, as we see, classified as such as well. And yeah, fish boom is what they are oftentimes associated with. Obviously, though, also pretty good infantry. And well, elephants, if you want to go that far. Not expecting those, but you know, one can always dream. All right, now let's see what these guys are actually playing. It looks like MbL's team here really with a nice little eco edge, not only based on having the Mayans here. Looks like they're getting a pretty good start off, and that's what I said earlier, right? If you're super close together, you're really draining all the resources from a small area, whereas the opponent has a wider area of the map to draw resources in from. Look at this, MbL could in theory go out to all these deer, could go out to all the stone and gold right there in the north. As we see the deer laming coming in now for Dragon, pretty nicely done, and now getting chased out by Mihai here after all. I wonder what the strategy is gonna be for Mihai, because so close to one of the opponents, you feel like you have to make them sweat, you have to put the pressure. Dragon on her part cannot go super greedy, cannot go from, I don't know, just full naval or whatever, because she's gonna get her house ran down. Going up to feudal age, it seems. Well, at least trying to, I think, at this point. Oh, she was lacking the building, I assume. Okay, that is unfortunate, but, well, it is the typical nomad syndrome, isn't it? Yeah, he's got the wood right there, the food, excuse me, and is up on the way. Okay, same thing for MbL. They're getting their feudal age timings in nice and early. Interesting, very interesting, I gotta say. I expected MbL to maybe just go for a FC, but maybe that was naive as well. On the other side, Mihai and Alexander only now starting to go up. Of course, not to disregard Malay's faster aging up. Allows for very good timings as well. That outpost for Dragon not gonna pay off. Getting chopped down immediately, and Alex says, while I'm at it, I'll just take those deer as well. And about to be up to the next age is Mihai, while Alex is still not getting up. The question is he doing that on purpose? Is that just his build, or is he trying to, well, seems to be severely lacking food, but maybe that is by design. I can't tell. He's got a lot of fishing ships out already though. Mihai now going into galleys. On the other side, MbL and Dragon getting up to the next age. How water focused are they going to be playing? What is the idea here? AleksanderG here, still around 350 food. I'm not getting up just yet. So it's not going to be a super early military rush here. But villagers already fighting. This is pretty stressful here. It's got to be... Okay, Dragon is going to get that tower up, but how long is it going to stand? The villagers from Mihai here, from Alexander, very well positioned to pressure down the tower immediately after it goes up. And Dragon not only going to have to continuously repair those palisades, but also try and save the tower, which is going to go up with, well, pretty low HP as well once it finishes. And there it goes. Doesn't even deny a ton of eco space, I wouldn't say. Mihai going for the counter tower now, at least, and that's what I like to see. Dragon is going on the offensive. She's in a 1v2, but he's not getting intimidated here. Making sure to pressure the opponents with the good uptime that she was able to get. On the naval side, it looks like Mihai opted for his galleys, while both of the opponents are going to go into fires, which is in the short term here. Good defensive reaction. Fletching coming out for MbL now. He's going into archers apparently. Is he gonna get into the opponent's eco? Oh, the wall just barely not in time here. for Mihai. And I don't think he was able to, no, not able to force that up. So more archers could still come in. And that is big damage here on the land side for MbL. A land side victory, you could call it. Going in with the archers, already idling a lot of eco here. And that's what I'm saying. You're all fenced into your little area here in the south, Team Mihai. Is that going to be all that beneficial to you in the end? We'll see. Finally, Alexander also able to get up to the next age. Resource-wise, he's ways away from FCing, so that's certainly not what he's going to be able to do. And they have 0 gold or stone within their walls. So their corner that they kind of picked out for themselves is really not that effective. Good choice by Alexander to branch out early and set up a nice base in the north here. However, without a TC there, it's not super secure. And I love the pressure coming out from Team MbL here already. Dragon here kind of really not bothered by this 1v2 scenario. I was expecting this to look pretty rough, but no. Pressure is full on the opponent's team right now. It's got to be said though, on the water it looks like it is looking really decent for Team Mihai. They've got a ton of fishing ships here from Alexander still alive. And sure, there's some fire ships annoying there, but they're taking ages to take out fishing ships, so that's not an issue. Bad news in the east though. Looks like that colony was found out about by MbL and is doing tons of damage here continuously. Oh, those poor villagers, not even able to drop their gold before getting shot in the backs. It feels like really all the edge that Mihai's team is on water right now. Like, they have got 8 galleys, that's nice. That can do a lot of damage to the enemy's fishing eco. But on land, my goodness, how are you coming back from this one? Oh, even with the villagers forward here. Dragon now trying to, I guess, harass in the north. That golden stone was sorely needed here for Team Mihai. At least, you know, the tower could be put up here by Alexander if he wanted to. And that tower is pretty annoying, man. If that goes up, that would be pretty devastating, it feels like, for Alexander. He's losing all the space here around his TC. It looks like there's nothing he can do about it for the time being. Alright, it is nomad and chaotic. That's what we came here for, so at least not gonna complain about that, surely. When are the galleys gonna make it their impact though? He's now arrived with them. He's gonna start taking out fishing ships. That's the way back into this, surely, for Team Mihai. He's gotta make those galleys count here and try to not lose too many against the fire ships, because at home it's really not gonna get better for some time, I feel like. Skirmishers now coming out for Mihai. That's the way, of course, against the archers. Not too bad, and also against the towers, those are pretty tanky. Don't die too quickly. Looks like Mihai kited this one out nicely in the north. And aleksanderG, he's also got one of those fire ships around, although his eco really in shambles here at home. It's rough. He's got the 7 fishing ships at least, though, I guess, right? He doesn't have a dock, though, does he? Oh, no, never mind. His dock did survive. Apologies about that. Their woodline is getting slimmer and slimmer. This is not a great look, because that wood is about to be gone, and he's gonna need to branch out a bit. In comes MbL with the archers sneakily actually getting underneath this tower here. Oh, no, never mind. It's his own tower. He's just taken out the enemy villagers, I was gonna say. But good job here. This tower staying up is pretty big and pretty detrimental. In the north, this colony now freed up by the skirmishes, I guess. And now it's Dragon who's gold minus. Not gonna be able to get to work. So slowly but surely, Alex and Mihai are freeing up some more eco space for themselves. Question is, how much damage has been done at this point? Alexander and MbL on their ways to Castle Age. Let's see how this goes. MbL, of course, the big fish in this game, so to speak. He's not only highest elo, he's also got a lot of space here around this base. He's the Mayans, and he's gonna get a pretty decent Castle Age time off here. What is he gonna go into? At this point, it looks like it's just gonna be crossbows for the time being. But he's got a ton of fire ships on water too, so he's certainly looking to fight on multiple fronts here. Controlling the north, trying to start a push in the south as well. And meanwhile, on land, he's still got a good amount of archers alive as well, still harassing in the north. This is so crucial. Holding on to this eco, as little as it is super important for Team Mihai. At home, how is that situation going? They're able to farm in the west as well. I feel like another tower here for Dragon could be decent. He's got enough stone right now. I would love a tower down here. That would be pretty good, denying that woodline, but the preemptive tower for Mihai, making sure that, yeah, that eco down south remains able to be worked with. In the north, don't want to lose those fishing ships here, Mihai, I don't think, but he doesn't have the galley numbers anymore to contest those. Castle drop coming in from MbL now. That's what he was trying to do with his castle age time. Okay, he's meaning business here, we can see. And honestly, what to do about this? It feels like Mihai's team no stone at all to really do anything about this. They're running out of options. They've lost the naval priority, and they've never really had the land priority at all. Their colonies haven't been profitable, so to speak, all game long. So I really don't see this getting better for them. How's this gonna work? It's not gonna work. Alright, and MbL's team able to redeem themselves with a victory here in game number 3. What a nice story for them. They're able to close it out with a win here. Nicely done to them. And that's how our Play All 3 series is gonna end, apparently. MbL and Dragon grabbing a win here in the third one. 2v2 Nomad. And overall, still, I want to underline the subversion of expectations here. That is the victory of Team Mihai and Alexander in our Showmatch series. Pretty considerable underdogs elo-wise, so happy for them that it worked out. And I want to know now from both the players, spectators, and the other players that are already signed up to the event, I want to know what you thought. Yeah, what did you think about the drafting format, about the in-game format as well? What would you like to see, or what would you like to change in terms of being a player in the event? We've tried this format out once now. Maybe some strengths and weaknesses are already visible, and before launching the event we can surely make some adjustments if we feel strongly about it. So I want to get the debate going. Definitely interested in hearing what you guys have to say, and let's all just discuss it in the Discord server if you want. There's a channel, Showmatch Feedback, where we can get a good discussion going. Yep, so that's gonna be it for this series. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and that's the sort of overall concept for this tournament, if you guys haven't noticed. So again, it's 2 players on a team, high level pro level type player, lower elo type player, and then we'll have 2 1v1s and a 2v2 to cap things off. That's the current way our format is looking, but again, we've tried it out once now. Let me know what you guys thought, and join the Discord. That's the most important thing. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll have the Discord linked in the video description. Again, if you're just interested in watching, or if you're looking for a team partner to team up with, or if you just want to enter the event, all of you are going to be welcome in the Discord server. So, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for joining, everybody. It was a pleasure. And if you want to get updates on the tournament, join the Discord. Otherwise, there'll be more streams. Well, at least when the tournament starts at the latest. So look forward to that. If you just follow the channel, you won't miss anything there. All right, signing off for today then, and hoping for a good tournament. Until next time.